Oh, hello there. Yes, Sunday again. New Culture Forum. They finally released it. The West. How we all got to be so rich. And the answer is capitalism. It's very nice. It's really good. And there are loads and loads of benefits of it, provided you don't think about it too hard. This show doesn't. You can argue till the cows come home about the rights and wrongs of the British Empire. You can argue till the cows come home about the rights and wrongs of the British policy vis-a-vis slavery. However, what you can't argue about is any of the wealth of British social history out there that covers the period 1600s to the present day, which is a little bit problematic if you think that capitalism brings freedom. Classic libertarian stuff. It conflates capitalism with personal freedom and free markets. The three things are different. Sorry, guys, they just are. Let's look at a clip and then we'll have a deeper dive.
It was absolutely worth it for the peasants of the past to shift to towns. And yes, it's true that some of them worked in horrible factories which damaged their lives, lived in horrible circumstances. Not all, but what you've got to compare it with is what they were in situation previously. They were overwhelmingly, desperately poor prior to the industrial and agricultural revolutions. Desperately poor. Life expectancy was, I don't know, half what it is now. I mean, they literally did not live. That's how bad things were. You only have to read even Lark Rise to Candleford, which is set in the mid-19th century, to see how desperately poor the peasant population was, how they would struggle to have one set of clothes. One set of clothes. The mechanization of textile production, for example, that meant people had clothes. The 19th century started with people wearing clogs. It ended with them wearing shoes.
Yes, indeed. I don't know. That basically kind of dismisses about 300 years of mercantile exploitation in the UK and the colonies, like it was a kind of long weekend that was a bit damp. It wasn't. Basic problem I have with the whole of the enterprise that is the New Culture Forum is it takes very much that kind of libertarian view of the world, whereby everything is absolutely fine if I'm fine. It isn't. Lots of the arguments in this show seek to dispel the notion that Britain profited, or at least largely profited, from slavery. You can argue that till the cows come home. What I don't want to get into is this notion that rising levels of prosperity in the latter half of the 20th century can magically be backtracked 400 Gs previously. That doesn't really cut the mustard, guys. The reason why people moved into cities was because they had to, because there was no work, because the new factories were driving them out of business. And it wasn't that they then got to be richer and happier and healthier. An awful lot of them died very young, in miserable conditions that their ancestors didn't have to live in. It's a very, very benign view of capitalism, and at heart, I have problems with that worldview. And it's held by people that you notice always are winners economically in a system. And it's fine if you're Jeff Bezos to argue that the system works extremely well. It's less easy to do so if you're a garment worker in a Bangladeshi factory. And the New Culture Forum here doesn't really have an answer to that. It kind of suggests that the world is divided between good capitalism and bad capitalism, like in China. But it isn't really, is it? It's just one system which is exploitative. And the problem that this show has is it cannot logically explain why, for the last decade plus, wages and life expectancy in the UK are going down. How does that work, guys? Anyway, link below. See what you make of it. I think it's that archetypal libertarian, if we're free economically, we're free, full stop. I don't buy into that. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just stupid. Yeah, that must be it. I'm just stupid.